యా ఇప్పుడు కనిపిస్తుందా మీకు స్క్రీన్? హలో.
కనిపిస్తున్నాయి.
యా నార్మల్ గా ముందు ఇక్కడ మ్యాప్ కింద ఫార్ లూప్ కాకుండా system.debug ఇస్తే ఏం ఎర్రర్ రావట్లేదు.
ఒక్క నిమిషం, అది ఆ విండో కొంచెం పెద్ద చేస్తారా? నాకు చాలా చిన్నగా కనిపిస్తుంది విండో.
యా
చెప్పండి ఇప్పుడు.
యా ఇక్కడ మ్యాప్ క్రియేట్ చేశా కదా నేను.
ఓకే.
యా కింద ఫార్ లూప్ కాకుండా నార్మల్ గా system.debug ఇచ్చి తర్వాత ఫార్ లూప్ ఇస్తే ఏం ఎర్రర్ రావట్లేదు. నేను ఇప్పుడు రాసిన లాగా రాస్తే ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది.
system.debug values ac.values.
మీకు ఒకసారి
సో
చూపిస్తాను.
కీ సెట్ లో మీకు ఏముంటుంది? ఓన్లీ ఐడీస్ ఉంటాయి కదా. ఓకే, సో మీరు acc map డాట్ కీ సెట్ system.debug, ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏసీ తీసుకున్నారు. ఈ ఫర్ లూప్ వేరియబుల్ తీసుకోవాలి ఇక్కడ. ఏసీసీ కాదు. సి ఫర్ లూప్ రాసేటప్పుడు if you are writing for loop, you have defined a variable acc here. So this acc variable is valid only for the next statement if you are not using curly braces. After one statement, compiler don't know what is acc. Okay, so this acc is valid only for the next statement. Okay, so here you have taken ac, you have taken, I guess you added one more c here now. ఇప్పుడు యాడ్ చేసి తీసేయండి అది. నౌ హియర్ ఇక్కడ కూడా కింద స్టేట్మెంట్ ఉంది కదా system.debug, అది కూడా ఏసీ పెట్టండి. ఓకే, నౌ యూ వోంట్ గెట్ ఎనీ ఎర్రర్.
ఇది వస్తుంది.
Method does not exist or incorrect signature, void values from the type account. Okay, click on OK. రైట్. సో ఇక్కడ అకౌంట్ ప్లేస్ లో ఫర్ లూప్ లో అకౌంట్ ఉంది కదా, ఫర్ లూప్ లో అకౌంట్ తీసేసి ఐడి రాయండి.
ఫస్ట్ ఫర్ లూప్ లోనా?
నో, సెకండ్ ఫర్ లూప్. ఏ కూడా తీసేయండి, ఐడి ఏసీ ఏసీసీ మ్యాప్ డాట్ పీసెట్. ఇప్పుడు ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయండి. void values from the name account.
ఒకవేళ ఫార్ లూప్ కింద రాసాను అనుకోండి system.debug తర్వాత అప్పుడు ఏం ఎర్రర్ రావట్లేదు.
లాస్ట్ system.debug స్టేట్మెంట్ తర్వాతనా?
నార్మల్ గా ఇక్కడ మధ్యలో మ్యాప్ కింద ఇంకా ఈ 2 ఫార్ లూప్స్ తీసేసి system.debug కింద రాస్తే ఏం ఎర్రర్ రావట్లేదు.
ఇట్లా రాసినా రాకూడదు, ఎందుకంటే ఏసీసీ ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఇక్కడ ఐడి కదా డిఫైన్ చేసింది, ఐడి కామా అకౌంట్ కదా, మ్యాప్ ఐడి కామా అకౌంట్. ఓకే, మ్యాప్ ఐడి కామా అకౌంట్ అంటే ఈ వాల్యూస్ ఇవన్నీ. ఫస్ట్ ది కీస్, సో కీస్ అన్ని ఐడీస్ ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ ఐడి తీసుకోమన్నాను. ఫర్ ఐడి ఏసీ తీసుకోమన్నది అదే రీజన్. ఏసీసీ మ్యాప్ కీ సెట్. ఒకసారి నన్ను ప్రెజెంటర్ చేస్తారా? నాకు మౌస్ కీబోర్డ్ పర్మిషన్స్ ఇస్తారా? ఓకే, ఇక్కడ మీరు ఇవ్వలేరు, మీరు వెబ్ వర్షన్ లో ఉన్నారు. మీకు టూల్ డౌన్లోడ్ అవ్వలేదా?
ఆహా అవ్వలేదు.
ఓకే, సేమ్ కోడ్ నేను ఇక్కడ రాస్తాను, ఒకసారి ఇక్కడ నాకు కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేసి పంపిస్తారా కోడ్?
యా.
ఈ చాట్లో పంపించండి. Right. So error is here with this statement. Okay. So you cannot directly write values here. What you want to print? Because your values contain ID, phone, name from account. Okay. If you want to print the name, write name. Okay. If you want to print any other things, then write whatever you want to print. Okay. So that is the reason you are getting the error. I am not observing this. What I am observing is there might be some error with the key set. I am looking at it. Okay. So yeah, I will tell you. So as you are using ACC in second statement also, you have to have the curly braces. Okay. So now you won't get any error.
Yeah.
So I am looking at the key set. So everything is right with the key set. So that is what I am looking at. Void key set. Okay. So here also don't write key set. Variable does not exist, ID at line 206. Okay. I will tell you the error. Let me see the output first.
Okay.
Right. See, the IDs are printed here and name and phone number printed. Okay. So now we will compare the code that you have written. It is good that you are practicing.
Yeah.
We have to practice, because when we listen to this one, it seems very simple, but if you practice, you will get lot many errors. So till here it is fine, and here in system.debug if you write this statement, this is a method. ACC dot values will give all the values. Okay, ACC dot values contain all the values. Okay, so here you are writing a for loop, and for loop is a repetitive one. What exactly you want to print here, you have to give that. Do you want to print a name or do you want to print a phone? So you want to give that. Okay, so for each and every account present in this ACC map dot values, for each and every account present in ACC map dot values, what you want to do, you can do here. And one more thing, that is one error here. So you have to give name or phone or something, don't give values here. And this is what I have written, right? ID. Yeah, so in the second for loop also, in the beginning you have used ACC, right? In the second for loop also you used ACC, so you should not use ACC here again, because it will be duplicating.
Yeah.
You are duplicating the variable. Okay, so if you want to use this for loop, I mean if you want to use this variable ACC, that should be within this for loop only. Outside of this for loop, compiler don't know what is ACC, because you define this one in the loop. So inside the loop only ACC is valid, outside the loop it is not valid. Okay, so anyway, here we have taken ID AC. Why I have taken ID means the first key. What is the data type of key? This is key and this is value. Map key comma value, right? So the data type of key is ID. So that is the reason you have to take ID. ID, where you have your IDs, for each and every ID you are defining some variable of type ID. This AC is a variable of type ID, it is not account. Okay, so where you have your IDs, you have your IDs in the ACC map dot keyset. This is your ACC map, you defined it here, the map name. So in this you have all the IDs. Okay, so for each and every ID present in ACC map dot keyset, you want to print the ID, right? You don't need to write this keyset, just remove it. Okay, it will print the IDs. That's it. Clear?
And
Yeah, అడగండి.
యా అది మనం ఒకవేళ ఫార్ లూప్ యూస్ చేస్తే నార్మల్ గా వాల్యూస్ అని ఇవ్వకుండా ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్స్ ఇవ్వాలి కదా.
అంటే ఎన్హాన్స్డ్ ఫర్ లూప్ రాసేటప్పుడు ఈ ఎన్హాన్స్డ్ ఫర్ లూప్ లో వేర్ యూ హ్యావ్ యువర్ వాల్యూస్, వేర్ యూ హ్యావ్ యువర్ కీస్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్. After that, in system.debug, what is the reason behind using system.debug? To print each and every value in separate lines, right? So enhanced for loop, we are using it. You don't need to write enhanced for loop. I mean, you don't need to you know write this enhanced for loop directly. You can write, see here, I will show you the reason for using enhanced for loop is to process each and every record. So here I can write, this is not executed, this is the correct one, right? System.debug, the account values are let me execute the first two statements. I'm executing only first two statements.
Okay.
See, you will get your name and phone in one single line. Okay, so here you are not processing each and every record, you are processing all the records at a time, you are not taking care of them separately. Okay, all record values are printed at a time. If you want to process each and every record, then you will go for this enhanced for loop. Okay, your ACC map dot values contains all the account information that you retrieved using your query. this ACC map dot values contains all the accounts information. Okay, whatever the query you have written, that information will be there. If you want to see IDs in a single line, ACC map dot key set. This will give you all the IDs. Okay, it will give you all the IDs, right? If you want to process each and every record, and if you want to print each and every record name and phone number, then you have to go to enhanced for loop. Okay, in real time, you can write a condition here in for loop. If acc.name is equal to test record, I want to do something to this test record. Okay, I want to do something here for this record, so I can write some conditions like this. So enhanced for loop is used to process each and every record here. So it will see if account name is equal to test record, it will see if there is any record with this name, and if you want to do something to that record, then you can do. If you want to update it, you can update. Okay, but here if you write here in this ACC map dot values, it contains all the records and you cannot process them one by one. So that is the reason you are going for loop. Enhanced for loop is used to process each and every record. Instead of processing all the records at a time, you are able to define a variable. Using that variable, you can get the values, and if you want to do something, update or delete or something, you can do. So that is the reason behind using enhanced for loop. Okay. So you have to look at what is the data type of key and what is the other data type. Okay, this is Apex type. Your account is Apex type. So all standard and custom objects comes under Apex type. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So collection classes supports user defined types, primitive types. These are all the data types. User defined data types, primitive data types, collection types, and Apex types. Okay. Collection types means again list set map. Apex types means all the standard and custom objects are Apex types. Okay, right.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, no problem. So we will see one interesting topic today, like operator in SOQL. Okay, so how we can use like operator. So I have a search box here, right? And I will search for test record. Okay, I will search for test record. Then I got the records with the name test. Okay, so I searched for test record and I got the records with the name test record. In the same way, I want to write a query. How you are getting these results? How you are getting this? So there is a query running behind. Whatever you type in the search, see again, I am typing test only. See here, you got records from different objects. So you got records from different objects. See, it is having test, 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 and these are all having test. Okay, so there is something which is running and which is showing you the results. So it is an example of SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language. We will see this one later, forget about it. But whenever you type something and if you click on search, so all the objects are searched here, right? But SOQL can search, I mean, if you are writing the query on only one object, it will search only one object. Okay, so I want to have a query. I want to provide a keyword to the query and it has to search for that keyword in the object. I will provide a keyword to the query. and the query will take that keyword and it will search the object, and if it got any records, then it will display those records. See, with the name test, we have too many records. Show more. So you can see these many records are there with the keyword test. Okay, so the same operation I want to do by using queries. The same thing, whatever you got here, I want to do the same using queries. We will see how we can do that. So this is you can do with the like operator. Okay, so yeah, we will write a code, we will write a program to display records that starts with test. Okay, that starts with test. So first I will take a string parameter, keyword is equal to, I will give the value test. Okay, I have taken a keyword. This parameter should be passed to the query, and I will write a query here. So I will prepare a query and I will store the query in a variable. I will prepare a query and I will store the query in a variable. Don't get confused. Again, we are going to see the same concept in one more thing. I mean today itself. So by the end of the class, you will be clear. Okay, nothing to worry. If you are not clear, then we can repeat the same tomorrow. SOQL query, or else write SOQL, or else write my query is equal to, I defined it as a string. So now everything has to be in the quotations because I have taken a string parameter here. So string parameter means that should be in the quotations, right? I will write my query here and I will store the query in a string variable. My query is a string variable. Okay. So select id comma name from account. I want to search the account records. Okay. Account. Now I will use a where class, where name like. Here whenever you use like operator, you have to use colon. Okay, whenever you use like, you have to use colon here. Where name like this keyword. Where name like this keyword, and each statement should end with a semicolon. Okay, right. Now I will prepare a list. Why I need a list? Because I am writing a query here and I want to store my query results in a list. Okay, so I will prepare a list of type account because these are all account records. List ACC is equal to. So there is a concept, there is a database class concept. So we will see that concept later. I mean today itself we will cover database classes if possible. Okay. So I will write database.query. So we have static queries and we have dynamic queries. What is static and what is dynamic? Let me explain that first. This is a static query. Okay. Dynamic query means if you are passing the parameters during runtime. I am not passing the parameters here during runtime. The name is equal to test record. I have given already. So dynamic query means you will pass the parameters during the runtime. If you are passing the parameters during runtime, that is called a dynamic query. See here, this keyword parameter is passed to this query. Okay, where name like a keyword. You are passing this parameter to this query. So you can change it. You can write anything you want, right? So you can create a Visual Force page and you can have a search box here, and whenever you click on this button, you can write a logic where, whenever you click on this search button, you can call a method where you prepared a query. See, understand the logic, try to understand the logic behind it. Whenever you click on search button, so this, consider it is a custom Visual Force page. I designed a page and I have a search button here. Whenever I click on this search button, I will write a Apex controller where once I click on this search button, a method will be called. What method will be called? A method which contains the query. Okay, so in that method I will prepare this query. So you are passing whatever you type here, that will be passed to the query. That means dynamically during runtime you are passing a parameter to the query. If I type test here, this test has to be passed to the query. So from the user interface, the controller will get the parameter, right? So that is the reason it is dynamic. So it is, the other one is static because you are not passing any parameters. You are directly giving the values here itself, right? This is a static and this is dynamic. So how to execute dynamic queries? Using database classes. To execute a dynamic query, you have to use database classes. Okay. So database.query, you have to write your query name. Okay. You have to write your query name. Any question? Right. So this one will execute this query. Database.query will execute this query. Okay. So you are passing this parameter my query here. What it contained? My query contained this entire query. Okay. And here you have a keyword. What is this keyword? Keyword is having this value test. Okay. Right. Let me complete it so that you can understand everything. So here I want to print the results now. Okay. I want to print the results. So before you go for printing results, just check whether your list is empty or not. Okay. Suppose I give something like, say, so there may be a record with this name or there may not be any record. Okay. So if there are no records, then what is the, you are unnecessarily asking compiler to go and check the for loop. Okay. If there are no records, compiler doesn't have any job with your for loop, enhanced for loop. Okay. So that is the reason I want to check the size of the list. If the list is not empty, go to the for loop. If the list is empty, then don't go, stop there itself. That means I want to check the size. How I can check? We have two ways. If lstacc dot size greater than 0, this is one way. Okay, or else you can use isEmpty method. If lstacc dot size greater than 0, enter this loop. Enter this loop when there are some records in this list. What this list contains? This list contains the record with the name test. Okay, so now I will write my enhanced for loop for account ACC. Where are my records now? My records are there now in lstacc variable. That is my list variable. Okay, so I want to print I want to print the name, because your list may contain multiple accounts, right? So I want to go through each and every record and print each and every record name. Okay, so for each and every account here, this for loop you can read this one as for each and every record, for each and every account present in the variable lst_acc. What I want to do for each and every account, I want to first print the name. So acc.name, so you have to write the rating also in the query, otherwise you will get the error. Okay, and you can also print id. Okay, right, let me execute this one. Okay, no errors. See, each and every record that you retrieve containing test. Okay, so the name of the account is a sharing test, the name of the account is test approval, the name of the account is testing validation rules, the name of the account test account some date, the name of the account test access to senior manager. Okay, so each and every record name contains test. All right, now it is fine. So here test is at the end, and here test is at the beginning, and here test is somewhere in the middle. Do we have any record with the test in the middle? Okay, anyway, all the records that contain the name test will be retrieved here. Okay, all the records that contains the name test will be retrieved here. But now my requirement is I want to retrieve the records which are starting with the name test, which are starting with the name test. See here, your percentile symbol is at the front and at the end, at the beginning and at the end. That means it may be, this keyword may be anywhere in the name. Okay, so if you want to have records that begin with test, you have to write like this. Okay, now this keyword test means after test you can contain something, you can have something. After test you can have something. Okay, so if you want records that end with the test, then you can write something like this. Okay, you can have something in the beginning. If you want to have the records that contain test at the beginning, then you have to write this. Okay, we will see this first. See, it is in the beginning, it is in the beginning, it is in the beginning, it is also in the beginning. Test account, testy. See, it is in the beginning, beginning. Okay, all are in the beginning. Okay, all are in the beginning. Right, now I want to have a query which returns the accounts that are ending with the name test. That means you can have something in the starting, but that should end with test. So you have to use like this. Sharing test, only test, manual sharing test, test, approval test. Okay, ending with the name test are printed here. So if you want a query to retrieve the records which contains the name test, then you have to use it. It may have something in the beginning, it may have something at the end. but it should contain the name test. Then you can use this one. Okay, got it? So this is your like operator. Your like operator is used to get the records which contain a particular state, particular keyword at the beginning or at the end or anywhere in the name. Okay, anywhere in the field value. Okay, any questions? You can write like operator on any field. You can say where rating like, you can say where stage like, okay, something. Okay, but mostly we will be searching for the names only here. Okay, we will be searching for the names only here. Anyway, if you search here, even though there is, I tell you, okay. So if you are writing test here, all the records with the name test will be searched here. So here you can write a query not only on the name but also on other fields. Okay, if you have some description field, description like, okay, if you have something, a custom field, and custom field whatever your field name like, okay, and you can pass your keyword here. Okay, right, this is something which is similar to this functionality, this is search functionality. Okay, but here it is searching all the objects, but here it is searching only one object. Okay, so right, any questions here in the like operator? If you want me to explain with one more example, I can take one more example. So we will write a query again on opportunities. Okay, take a string, some name and width is equal to, as it is ending, in the beginning you have to use the percentile symbol, test. Okay, you have to write a query, string my query is equal to, write your query, select id comma name from opportunity where name like. What I have to write here, this keyword I have to pass. Okay, now prepare a list, list opportunity, list opp is equal to, so this is a dynamic query. Okay, you have to use database dot query, see the intelligence, it will give you the intelligence, database dot query, and here you have to write my query. Okay, so you are passing the string parameter to this database dot query. Right, now check the size. and if the size is greater than 0, write the enhanced for loop. If lstopp, tell me what I am writing is correct or not. If lstopp dot is empty, for opportunity opp present in lstopp. So what I have written is right, or is there any mistake? System.debug, the name of the opportunity is opp.name. So do you think it is going to give you the correct results? Okay. First, let me see if we have any records, opportunity records with the name test. Yeah, we have records with test. Okay. Any record that is, yeah, ending with test. So what we have written here? Yeah, ending with test. I have written percentile symbol in the beginning, means you can have something in the beginning. Okay, but the ending must be test. Okay, so do you think it is going to give you some results? No, it won't give you. Why?
Not better.
Yeah, you have to use not here. So what we are writing here is, if list is empty, enter the loop. So if list is empty, if compiler enters the loop, what the compiler is going to do when the list is empty? It is not having anything to print here. Okay, that is the reason use the not symbol here. Then you will get the correct results. So we have one record. Okay, the name of the opportunity is test. Got it? This is how you can use your list operator. Okay, any questions? Right. So now we will see dynamic SOQL queries. Already we discussed this topic. Okay, so using dynamic SOQL queries, we can run the query during runtime. During runtime, we can run the query based on the user input. Based on user input, we can run the query. Whatever the user giving you the input, you can take that input and you can pass that to the query. Okay, the same way I have explained here. If you are giving some keyword, so the compiler will take this keyword and supply it to the query. Okay, so the dynamic SOQL query will run during runtime by taking the parameters that are passed from the front end. Okay, so what we have to do for that, we have to create a variable which can store the value that is passed by the user. Which can store the value that is passed by the user. So to store that, we have to define a variable and we have to pass that variable to the query. Okay. So again, we have database classes here. What is the use of database classes? Database classes are used to execute the queries during runtime. Database classes are used to execute the queries during runtime. Only during runtime they will execute the query. Okay, and so there are different classes in database classes. There are different methods in database classes like query, get query locator. So as you go on practicing, you will come to know what is the use of each and everything. Okay, but here to execute your dynamic query, we use database.query, and you will be writing your query in a string parameter. So pass that string parameter to your database.query method. Okay, database.query is a method defined in the database classes. Okay, and this database.query returns list of records. It is a list collection. Database.query returns list of records. It won't give you one record. It gives you list of records. So you have to prepare a list and you have to store the results of database.query in a list. Okay, right. So we will see one example. Already you know the same example I can say. Whatever we discussed here, the same example. But we will take one more example and so do we have any custom objects? Always we are writing on standard objects only. Right, we have custom object. Okay. String name contains. Okay. So if name contains means it may contain in the beginning or in the end or in the middle. Test and prepare a query. String my query is equal to. So as it is string, that should be in the quotations. Select id comma name from vacancy where name like. Okay, so in your dynamic queries you will be passing a value to the query, so you have to use like operator here. Okay, name like, you can use this string variable, right? And now prepare a list. So list, what I have to write, it is a vacancy object. From vacancy it is a custom object, so underscore c. List vacancy lstvac is equal to, directly you can write database.query. Database.query my query. Okay, now you can check for the size of the list. If lstvac.size greater than 0, for vacancy underscore c, vac is equal to, my results are there in the list, right? It is a column, not is equal to lstvac Any questions here? Same thing. Okay, so here I am testing in the custom object. Any others? Right. Okay, execute highlighted. Test vacancy is printed. Okay, this is how you can use dynamic query. So what I can do here is I can prepare a Visual Force page and I can get the keyword. So here I am passing this keyword here. Okay, instead of passing the keyword here, you can pass that keyword in the user interface and you can get that value and you can pass it to the query. So that we can see in the Visual Force. Whenever we discuss with the Visual Force, we can see that. Okay, so this is how your database dot query works. Okay, so we have some database class methods. We will see those now.
Srinu,
Actually, yeah,
I have a question. Srinu,
yeah.
ఇప్పుడు మనము మీ ఇది కస్టమ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఇస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి చాలా తక్కువ రికార్డ్స్ వచ్చినాయి కదా.
Hmm.
సపోజ్ యు ఆర్ యూజింగ్ లైక్ దిస్ ఇన్ రియల్ టైమ్ లో చాలా రికార్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా.
Yeah,
ఇప్పుడు గవర్నర్
very
లిమిట్స్
good
ఉన్నాయి,
question. Yeah, I got
గవర్నర్
you.
లిమిట్స్.
I got you. So what is the limit of list? How many records this list can hold? So that is what you are going to ask, right?
యా దట్స్ రైట్. సపోజ్ ఓన్లీ 50,000 రికార్డ్స్ మాత్రం తీసుకుంటాయి కదా SOQL క్వెరీస్. సో ఎలా దీన్ని హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తాం నార్మల్ రియల్ టైమ్ సినారియోస్ లో అనేది కొంచెం డౌట్.
Yeah, we will come to know that in later classes. Definitely. Okay, so each SOQL query in one single transaction can retrieve only 50,000 records, right? So you will come to know about it in the later class. Okay, and here list, if you may be having a question here, so what is the capacity of list? Okay, so list do not have any limitations here. List can hold as many records, okay, but it is having limitation with the heap size. Heap size is different. Okay, so list can contain any number of records. There is no limitation for the list, but you asked something that you are going to see in the next class. Okay, right. So we have some database class methods. This is really very important. We will see that. Consider this example. I will write a query, or else I prepare a list and I add some group of account records to the list. So how we are dealing with list? If you go to the list where we discussed the list, yeah, here it is. See here, names dot add, you are adding one. Names dot add, you are adding one more value. You are adding one more value. So there is a mandatory field. Suppose I am adding account records. Suppose I am adding account records. Okay, and I am adding some details. Name is mandatory and consider phone number is mandatory field. Okay, for two records, I am passing all the mandatory information. Suppose like take 10 records. You are trying to insert 10 records at a time. You are trying to insert 10 records at a time. So for 9 records, you are giving all the mandatory information. And for one record, you are not passing the mandatory information. For all the records, for 9 records, you are passing all the mandatory information, but for one record you are not passing the mandatory information. Okay, and you are trying to insert the list. Will the accounts be inserted? My scenario here is I am trying to insert 10 accounts using list. Using list I am trying to insert 10 accounts. So I prepared the records values and 9 records have all the mandatory information. Okay, suppose name is obviously mandatory and phone is mandatory. These two are the mandatory fields. 9 records have name and phone, but the 10th record, one record, you can say one record do not have phone. One record do not have phone info. Okay, and I added all these records to the list. I added all the records to the list, and I am trying to insert list. Inserting list now. So will the list records be inserted or not? I will tell you one example here so that you can understand it very clearly. For I is equal to 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. Okay, so account new account. acc.name is equal to test account. This is a concatenation operator here. I. Okay, test account dot plus I. What are the mandatory fields for account? SSN number. Is equal to the format we have to write. This is the format, right? Okay. So now I have to prepare a list here. List account LST is equal to new list account. Okay. LST dot add ACC. Okay. So what will happen here? This loop will be repeated for 100 times, 0 to 100. Okay. So I initialized I as 0. The initial value of I is equal to 0 and incrementing this value here. So till I becomes 100, this loop is repeated. Here I created instance for the account. I am passing name and SSN number. And what I am doing, I am not directly adding the account. I am not adding the account. I am not inserting the account. What I am doing, I am just adding the account information to the list. lst.add ACC means this account information will be added to the list. That's it. It will not be inserted into the object. Okay. Now what I will do is I will use insert list. So what will happen now, we will see. Variable does not exist I. What is the error here?
Integer.
Yeah, you have to define the data type. Execute highlighted. Okay. So what is happening? I have not written any system.debug, so there is no use of looking at the debug statements. Okay. So but go to your account object and today's accounts. See, it is changed. The day I created and now it is changed. Maybe there was some release. See, these are all the accounts that added now. 0 to 100. These are all the accounts I added. Okay, I added 100 records at a time. Right? See here, I am adding 100 records here. Okay, I am passing all the mandatory information to these 100 records. Okay, I am passing the mandatory information to these 100 records. What I will do now is in this for loop, I will have one more condition. If I not equal to say some 10, if I not equal to 10, then ACC dot name is equal to this record will not be inserted. Okay, this record will not be inserted, and I will change the name now because we have too many records that are inserted with the test account. Or else what I can do is whatever the records I inserted, I can delete them from the backend. Okay, so we will do that. We will delete all the records that are inserted now, because if you see today's records, there is already 100 and there are too many. Okay, so I will write a query to delete all the account records that are created today. List account lst. Tell me how I can write it. Select id comma name from account where you have created date field. I guess it is the one. Created date is equal to today. Let me see. I don't know if it is correct or not. Delete list. I guess it is having some mistake. Execute. Schema dot. Oh, spelling is wrong. Perfect. Now go to today's accounts. Refresh the page. Right. You don't have any today's accounts. Okay. You don't have any today's accounts. Right. Good. So again, I am inserting records. This record will not be inserted. The reason is I am not passing the mandatory information. What is the mandatory information? We need SSN number also. Else execute this. I guess you are following me. You can stop me if you got any question. So this program, again I will explain. I prepared a list in the beginning. I have taken integer I is equal to 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. Okay, I want to insert 100 records at a time. I have created instance for the account object, and here if I value not equal to 10, this is the account name I am passing. Otherwise, account name is equal to, this is the name and this is the SSN number. All the records will be inserted successfully, or else take this I is equal to 99, because the compiler will iterate for 99 records, and exactly at I is equal to 99 it will be stopped. Exactly at I is equal to 99 I will show you that. So for that we need to see the entire logs. So let me set up the debug logs here. So it is very easy to observe the logs here. I don't know which time zone it is taking. Okay, let it be. It is some European Union time. So let it be. Nothing to worry. Right. Okay. So what I will do now is I will try to execute this. I should get the failure message. Okay. I do not get the failure message because I have not considered this insert statement. I have to add the insert statement. I should get the error. Success. Let me see. Test account 99. Only one record is inserted. Why? What is the code that I have written? I have to write this statement outside. Okay. What is the error you got? System.dml exception, insert failed, first exception on row, field custom validation exception. Please enter SSN number. Okay, please enter SSN number is the error you got. But here you are passing your SSN number value to all the records except where I is equal to 99, I not equal to 99. Okay, so you can write this in reverse order. Where I not equal to 99, you are passing only this value. Where I is equal to 99, else part is I is equal to 99. Okay, so for those records you are not passing SSN. So actually if I write in this manner, it will be more easy for you. I did it in reverse way. Okay, so for I not equal to 99, you are passing account name and SSN number. Where I is equal to 99, you are not passing SSN number. So if you execute this one also, you will get the error. Okay, you got the error. See whether the records are inserted or not. Only one record do not have SSN number. All the 99 records have SSN number information. Only one record is not having that. So because of that particular record, you are not able to insert your records. Only one record is making you fail. Okay. So how we can avoid it? See, if you observe the program again, if I not equal to 99, that means I may be anything other than 99. You are giving name and SSN number. Only when I is equal to 99, you are giving only name. You are not giving SSN number. Okay. So one record is failed to insert. One record is failed to insert. All the records can be inserted, but only one record is failing to insert. So that is making all the records to roll back. The total operation will be rolled back. No record will be inserted. Okay. So if you see the logs here, this is the recent log and this is the error message. If you see the logs, this will give you the clear picture. See, I is equal to 0 here. Account to true false, account. Yeah. You have SSN number, I is 1. So let me see I is equal to 99. There you can see the error message. Control F, 99. There are too many 99s. Or else, what is the name? Search for this. Only one is there. I47, I46. Like this we have to see for I99. I97. I98. Till I98 you don't see any error message. I100. Your account validation is fired these many times. Okay, regular expression 0 to 9 3 characters, 0 to 9 2 characters, 0 to 9 4 characters. Where you got the error, we will see that. Right, here you can see each and everything clearly. Test account 1, test account 3, test account 4. See, at I is equal to 98. This is fine. Okay, so insert failed. Where? On row 99, first error, field custom validation. So what compiler is doing is from I is equal to 0 to I is equal to 98, it is checking everything. Everything is going fine till I is equal to 98. When I became 99, it has got some exception. Okay, field custom validation exception. Please enter the SSN number in this format. That is the validation I have written. Okay. So at I is equal to 99, you got this validation exception which made you to roll back each and everything. So till here the compiler has checked everything was fine. It is uh, ready to insert those records. If this record has also got SSN number, then it would have inserted all the records, but it has got exception. Only because of this one record, the total operation is rolled back. Okay, only because of one record, all the records fail to insert. So if you want to avoid such kind of situations in real time, you can go to database classes. Instead of writing a simple insert statement, if you use database.insert here, if you use database.insert statement, then you will be able to insert those records. Again, I will execute this one again and check whether the records are inserted or not. Okay, it is failed, and see, if you refresh, the records are not inserted. Okay, but if I use database classes, you have database.insert method. If you use that, you will be able to insert those records. Okay, so the syntax for database.insert, we will see that. So the syntax for database.insert is database.insert. You have to write the list object name, what you want to insert. Okay, and after that you have to pass a boolean, either true or false. So what if I write true, what if I write false, we will see. Okay, so this is your database.insert syntax. And you can leave it empty also. So what happens if we write true, what happens if we write false, and what happens if we don't write anything, we will see. So database.insert see here, in place of this, add lst. Okay, you are trying to add your list, and I am writing true here. Let me execute this. I guess this is perfect. Let me see if I got any errors. Right, again you got the error. Okay, again you are not able to insert records. Check again, are you able to insert the records? No, again you are not able to insert the records. Now I will write false. In place of true, I will write false. Click on execute highlighted. Now you are able to insert all the records except I is equal to 99th record. Except I is equal to 99th, all the records are inserted. If you want to check, you can check. See? So database classes, database.insert is used to allow partial data processing. Okay, you are trying to insert 100 records and there is no mandatory information for one particular record, which is making you to not able to insert all the records. Okay, because of that one particular record, the entire operation is rolled back. To avoid such situations, you can use database.insert class. Okay, in database.class, if you pass the boolean parameter true, you are not allowing partial data processing. You are not allowing partial data processing. If you give the boolean parameter as false, you are allowing partial data processing. If you give that as false, you are allowing partial data processing. Okay, so again, let me delete all the records created today. Okay, see here, it is something like a game. Okay, so I have created these many records today and I will remove all those records now. Very simple. Refresh, all the records are gone because I want to check this again. Okay, I don't give anything, I don't pass any value, That's it. I will pass database.insert list. That's it. Let me see what happens. You got the error. Okay, only if you give the value as false, you are able to allow partial data processing. Okay, check your records are inserted or not. Records are not inserted. Now what I will do is I will give the boolean parameter execute. Method does not exist, incorrect signature, line 269. Oh, I have given false here. I should give it in database.insert. Right. Now you can check. The records will be inserted. Okay. So this is your database.insert class. Okay. So we will see some more things tomorrow. Any questions so far? Any questions?
Srinu,
Yeah.
Srinu,
చెప్పండి.
ఏమేమి టాపిక్స్ ఉన్నాయండి మనం?
ఇంకా SOSL కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉంది, అదొక 1 day పడుతుంది, ఫుల్ డే. నెక్స్ట్ ట్రిగ్గర్స్ ఉంది, నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ అపెక్స్, షెడ్యూల్ అపెక్స్, నెక్స్ట్ విజువల్ ఫోర్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద మెయిన్ టాపిక్స్.
సో అపెక్స్ క్లాసెస్ అవి ఇవేనండి ఇక?
Apex classes. Okay, so you can write everything in the class here. So Apex class means if you write a class, the class will not be called automatically because you have to call the class from somewhere. So the ways to call the class is the trigger. You can call it from the trigger. You can have the entire logic inside a trigger and you can call the class from the trigger. Okay, so each and every class, whatever the class you are writing, so the class will not be executed unless you call the class from somewhere. Okay, so the same thing I can keep in a class. I am executing it from here, right? So whatever I am discussing here, everything can be written inside a class and you can call the class. Okay, so there is no special topic like classes. New, write your class name, public void database method, define a method because you have to write the logic inside the method only. You can define the variables outside the method, but the logic should be inside the method only. Okay, so this is my class. Save it. So no errors, everything is fine with the class. The class is saved. Okay, so you have a class stored in your organization. In your org you have a class, database class. Okay, so this class will not be executed directly. Okay, so when this will be executed, you have to call this class from somewhere. Either it might be from a trigger, or it might be from a visual force page, or it might be from a developer console. Okay, so right, I will again delete the accounts that are created today. So I have a ready-made code to delete the accounts created today. This is also I can keep in one class and I can execute it. Let me do that also. I copied the code. Okay, right. Save this class.
శ్రీను ఇక్కడ
Yeah.
మీరు పబ్లిక్ రాశారు కదా, పబ్లిక్ స్టాటిక్ రాయకూడదా?
That becomes a static class. So static, non-static రెండు ఉంటాయి. అవి oops కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఒకసారి క్లియర్గా చూస్తే, ఒకసారి వీలుంటే మీరు oops కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అన్ని క్లియర్గా చూడండి. సో స్టాటిక్ రాయొచ్చు, స్టాటిక్ లేకుండా కూడా రాయొచ్చు. సో స్టాటిక్ క్లాసెస్ కాలింగ్ డిఫరెంట్ వే ఉంటుంది, నాన్ స్టాటిక్ క్లాసెస్ కాలింగ్ డిఫరెంట్ వే ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో ఒకసారి చూడండి, అది వాట్ ఈస్ స్టాటిక్ అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ నాట్ స్టాటిక్ అనేది తెలిసిపోతుంది. అది లేదంటే నేను చెప్తాను అది. ఓకే, సో హియర్ delete today's accounts class I have created. Okay, so you have these accounts that are created today. Now what I will do is I will call the class from the developer console, because writing a class doesn't do anything unless it is called from somewhere. So I am creating a instance for the class here. Okay, how to create instance for the class? Write a class name and create a object. It can be anything. Obj name is equal to new, your class name. Okay, and now you have to call the method. How to call the method? Using this instance. Your instance class instance name dot your method name.
శ్రీను ఇప్పుడు ఓబిజే నేమ్ దీనికి ఇన్స్టెన్స్ కి ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మీరు డాట్ పెడితే అది ఎందుకు చూపించలేదండి? ఆ మెథడ్ అవైలబుల్ ఉంది కదా ఆల్రెడీ అక్కడ.
ఇక్కడ అంటే ఇక్కడ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ రాదు,
జావాలో చూపిస్తుంది కదా. అట్లా ఇప్పుడు మనం డాట్ పెట్టగానే మెథడ్ చూపిస్తుంది కదా, అట్లా
డాట్ పెట్టగానే మెథడ్ చూపించేది అవి రెడీమేడ్ మెథడ్స్. సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఏదైనా లిస్ట్ తీసుకున్నారనుకోండి, లిస్ట్ కానీ ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ సిస్టమ్ డాట్ చూడగానే ఇవన్నీ చూపిస్తుంది. దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద అవైలబుల్ ఫర్ ద క్లాస్ సిస్టమ్. This is a class here in Apex. This is a class, and database dot. See, it is showing. So this is user defined thing. Okay, it is not system defined. So that is the reason it will not show that. Okay.
Okay. Only standard ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I am calling this class from here, from my developer console. Okay. So click on execute highlighted. I am not executing this above code to delete the records. Okay, before I execute this, again check you have all these records that are created today. Okay, right, let me execute these two lines. So if I execute these two lines, what it will do is it will check for the class delete today's accounts. Is there any class? It will check the entire org. So it will find the class and a instance will be created for the class, and it will check for the method. Whatever the logic you have written inside the method, that logic will be executed. Okay, go here and check. No records. Okay, again you have yeah
సారీ.
yeah
సో ఇన్ ద రియల్ టైం మనం ఇట్లా క్లాస్ రాసుకొని దీన్ని
yeah
లో కాల్ చేస్తాం.
విజువల్ ఫోర్స్ పేజ్ లో కానీ బ్యాచ్ లో కానీ ఓకే, అక్కడ మనం ఇక్కడ నేను అనానిమస్ విండోలో ఏం రాసినో ఈ 2 లైన్స్ అక్కడ రాస్తాం.
ఓకే ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సో సేమ్ థింగ్ ఇక్కడ ఈ డేటాబేస్ క్లాస్ కూడా నౌ వీ విల్ ట్రై టు ఇన్సర్ట్ అకౌంట్స్. That is my class name, class obj is equal to new my class name. This is the instance of the class, and using the instance I will call the method. Okay, this method contains the logic to insert account records. Okay, when this method is called, the entire logic that is written in this method will be executed. So let me check the parenthesis because it is a big one, right? So let me check the parenthesis, curly braces and all. Right, it is fine. Let me execute these 2 lines. Before execute, check, do we have any account records? We don't have any today's accounts. Now I will execute this. Okay, now you refresh. So whatever I am explaining on anonymous window, you can write everything inside a class, and you have to call the class from somewhere. Okay, we will see how we can call classes from triggers and visual force pages. That is the next part. Okay,
ఓకే
so anonymous window is everything to test. Okay, all right, any more questions? Okay, so we will see, we will meet again tomorrow. Is there any possibility, I mean, I can take class tomorrow at 4 o'clock, 4 or 4:35, I will let you know. 5 o'clock maybe, 5 to 6, and again 8:30 to 9:30, something like that. Is it okay if I take? Let me know. Okay, tomorrow morning I will message you guys, then message me accordingly. Okay, thank you so much.
థ్యాంక్స్ అండి.
Yeah,
బాయ్.
thanks Andy, bye.